Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive on the psychology of money by Morgan Housel. We're gonna be looking at personal finance, but with a totally different lens. So get ready to think differently about how your mind works when it comes to money decisions. Now you might be thinking, ugh, not another boring finance lecture. But trust me, this is gonna be different. We're not gonna drown you in spreadsheets and formulas. Instead, we're gonna uncover some pretty cool and surprising insights into why we make the financial decisions we do. Have you ever looked back on a money choice you made and just thought, what was I thinking? Yeah, well, you're not alone. It turns out our relationship with money is super personal. And it's often driven by things we might not even realize.
Yeah, that's exactly what makes Housel's book so fascinating. He basically argues that our financial decisions are way more driven by our backgrounds and experiences, not just logic or numbers.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, how does that actually play out in real life?
Well, imagine someone who grew up during the Great Depression. Their experiences might make them super cautious with investments, putting saving and security above everything else.
I can totally see how that would shape their financial outlook.
Right, and now contrast that with someone who lived through hyperinflation.
Yeah.
Where their savings were basically wiped out overnight. They might be more likely to put their money in tangible assets like real estate or precious metals to protect themselves from inflation.
So basically their decisions are driven by a fear of losing everything they've worked for.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Housel's point is that neither of these approaches is inherently right or wrong. They're both rational responses to the financial realities those people experienced.
That's so true. So understanding how major economic events shaped our parents, or even grandparents' financial views, can help us see our own biases. That's a really powerful insight.
Absolutely. And that leads us to another big idea from the book: the often underestimated role of luck and risk in our financial outcomes. Housel emphasizes that success isn't always replicable, and failure doesn't always mean you made bad decisions.
So even the most carefully thought out financial plans can be totally thrown off course by unexpected events.
Exactly. Have you ever had a stroke of luck that boosted your finances, or maybe some bad luck that set you back? It's something we
Welcome, Future Success Stories, in your channel S for Success. If you're finding this video helpful, hit that like button. It's a small click for you, but a big boost for us. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks to level up your life. We're just getting started, and there's so much more coming your way. Exclusive insights, powerful strategies, and real stories that can change your game. Your thoughts mean the world to us, so drop a comment and let's make this journey to success together.
always replicable, and failure doesn't always mean you made bad decisions.
So even the most carefully thought out financial plans can be totally thrown off course by unexpected events.
Exactly. Have you ever had a stroke of luck that boosted your finances, or maybe some bad luck that set you back? It's something we all face at some point, and it really highlights how important humility is, both when celebrating wins and dealing with setbacks.
That's a really good point. It's easy to think we have total control over our financial future, but sometimes it really is just being in the right or wrong place at the right or wrong time.
Exactly. And recognizing the role of luck also pushes us to build in some safety nets and be prepared for different outcomes. We can't predict the future, but we can accept that things won't always go as planned.
Like having a financial cushion for those unexpected twists and turns. Now, there's another concept Housel talks about that I find super interesting, but also kind of unsettling. This idea that it doesn't matter how much money we have. There's always that feeling of never enough.
Right, that's the hedonic treadmill. As we hit certain financial goals, our desires seem to increase right alongside them, leaving us constantly chasing that next level of wealth or material possessions.
It's like we're always running, but never actually getting anywhere.
Exactly. And this is especially true today with social media. We're constantly bombarded with images of people living these picture-perfect lives, which are often way beyond our reach financially.
It's easy to get sucked into comparing ourselves to others and feeling this pressure to keep up, even if it means spending more than we can afford or taking on unnecessary debt. So how do we break free from this cycle of always wanting more?
That's the big question, and one that Housel spends a lot of time exploring. He says that a crucial step is figuring out what enough actually means to us.
It's about finding contentment and satisfaction with what we have, instead of constantly chasing what we don't.
Exactly, and that's where understanding the psychology of money really comes in. It's not just about managing our finances, it's about managing our expectations and desires.
So it's as much a journey of self-discovery as it is a financial journey.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's about getting to know our own unique financial psychology, identifying those biases we all have, and coming up with strategies to make decisions that align with our values and goals.
This is really making me think about my own relationship with money. I'm starting to see how my past experiences and all the societal pressures around me have shaped how I act with money, sometimes in ways I wasn't even aware of.
That's a great first step. And Housel offers some really valuable insights into how we can break free from those patterns and start making more deliberate and intentional choices with our money.
This is so much deeper than just your typical finance talk. It's like we're peeling back the layers of our financial minds and uncovering some really profound truths about ourselves.
You know, it's funny how we can get so caught up in getting more that we completely forget what really matters. But Housel doesn't just leave us with the problem. He actually offers a pretty powerful solution in the book, understanding this thing called compounding.
Yes, compounding. I've heard that word like a million times in the finance world. But I gotta be honest, I've never really understood what it actually means. It almost sounds like magic or something.
It kind of does feel like magic sometimes, but really it's just consistent, steady growth over time. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. It picks up more and more snow as it goes. Compounding in finance is kind of like that snowball, except it's your money that's growing, thanks to those reinvested returns.
So it's not just about earning interest. It's about that interest then earning even more interest, and so on and so on.
Exactly. And the longer your money's invested, the bigger that snowball effect gets. Even small contributions made consistently can lead to some serious wealth down the line.
That makes sense. But is it really that simple? Just like letting your money sit there and grow?
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that. Housel really stresses that compounding isn't just about money. It's this universal principle that pops up everywhere in life. Just like investments compound over time, so do good habits and consistent decision-making. Think about it. Small daily choices, when you repeat them consistently, can lead to amazing results in your career, your relationships, even your health.
Whoa, I never thought of it that way before. It's like all those tiny things we do each day, even if they seem insignificant at the time, they can actually have a massive impact down the road.
Exactly. It's all about recognizing the power of consistency and patience. Just like a small amount of money invested consistently can turn into a fortune over time, small daily efforts can accumulate into huge achievements in all different parts of your life.
So it's not about getting rich quick. It's about building a strong foundation for long-term success. And that goes way beyond just money.
Absolutely. Now, while Housel is a big fan of compounding, he also recognizes that there's more to building wealth than just letting time do its thing. He outlines some practical principles that can really set you on the path to financial success.
Okay, I'm listening. What are some of those key principles?
Well, one of the most fundamental ones is saving. It's not always the most exciting thing, but it's the foundation of building wealth.
That makes sense. But with all these investment options out there, promising huge returns, it's easy to feel like saving is kind of boring.
I get it. But Housel makes a really good argument for why saving is so crucial. He points out that building wealth isn't just about chasing those crazy returns. It's about developing that consistent habit of setting money aside. And that habit can be way more valuable than any hot stock tip.
So it's not about deprivation. It's about making smart choices and putting your future financial well-being first.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important principle, managing risk. Housel is all about diversification, spreading your investments across different things to lower your risks, like the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's a classic. But it's surprising how many people forget that, especially when they get caught up in the hype of a certain investment.
It's easy to get swept up in the excitement, but Housel reminds us that the market is going to go up and down. Diversification helps soften the blow when things inevitably go south.
So it's about building a portfolio that can handle the rough times, not just chasing the good times.
Exactly. And another part of risk management is having an emergency fund. Life is full of surprises, and having that financial safety net can be a lifesaver when those unexpected expenses pop up, like medical bills or car repairs or even losing your job.
Yeah, that peace of mind is priceless, knowing you have that buffer to deal with whatever life throws at you.
Right. And this goes back to the psychology of money. Having that emergency fund can really lower your financial anxiety and help you make more rational decisions, even when things get tough.
So it's not just about the money itself, it's about the feeling of security and stability it gives you.
And that leads us to maybe the most important principle Housel talks about, having a long-term perspective. Building wealth takes time. It takes patience. And it takes a willingness to ride out those ups and downs in the market.
So trying to time the market or chase the latest trends is probably not the best strategy.
Housel would definitely agree with you there. He says that patience and consistency are key. It's about focusing on your long-term goals and not getting distracted by all the short-term noise. And that's where understanding the psychology of money becomes even more crucial. Because when the market crashes, and it will eventually, it's our emotions that can lead us to make bad decisions, like selling our investments at a loss.
It's like we're hardwired to make the worst choices in the worst possible moments. So how do we fight those emotional impulses and make smarter decisions?
Housel offers some really smart strategies for dealing with those psychological traps, and it all starts with being self-aware. We need to recognize our own biases and triggers, those emotional patterns that can lead us astray.
So it's like we have to become our own financial therapists, understanding our money mindset and coming up with ways to stay on track.
I love that analogy, and Housel gives us some concrete tools we can use to manage those emotions and make more rational decisions with our money.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of those strategies he recommends?
One approach he talks about is creating rules-based systems. Instead of making investment decisions based on your gut feeling or emotions, you set up some predetermined rules that you stick to, no matter what the market's doing or how you're feeling.
So it's about taking the emotion out of it and letting logic and strategy drive your decisions.
Exactly. And another strategy he suggests is automating your finances as much as possible. Set up automatic savings contributions, bill payments, even investment purchases. This takes the pressure off your willpower, which, let's be real, can be pretty unreliable.
That's so true. It's easy to procrastinate or make excuses when it comes to money, but automation takes the guesswork out of it and makes sure you're always moving towards your goals.
Exactly, and it ties back to the power of compounding. Even small amounts invested regularly and automatically can really add up over time.
It's like putting your financial future on autopilot.
I like that. Now, besides these practical strategies, Housel also emphasizes how important it is to keep learning about finance. He's a big believer in empowering ourselves with knowledge.
So it's not just about following rules or automating things, it's about really understanding how money works and how to make it work for you.
Exactly. Read books, listen to podcasts, go to seminars, talk to financial advisors. The more you know about personal finance, the better decisions you'll make.
It's about becoming financially literate, not just financially savvy.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. And this education shouldn't just be about the technical stuff, like investing and budgeting. It should also dive into the psychology of money, exploring those emotions and behaviors that drive our financial choices.
So it's about understanding not just the what of money, but the why behind how we act with it.
Exactly. And that deeper understanding can be really powerful. It helps us make more conscious and intentional choices with our money. Choices that match our values and goals.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces connect. It's not just about earning more or finding the perfect investments. It's about building a healthy relationship with money, one that's based on self-awareness, knowledge, and a long-term perspective.
You got it. And what's really cool is that these principles, they can be applied to other parts of our lives too.
Wait, really? Tell me more.
Think about it. The same ideas that help you build wealth, saving, risk management, long-term thinking, they can also be applied to your career, your relationships, even your health.
Wow, you're right. It's all about making conscious choices. No matter what area of life we're talking about, it's about understanding your own psychology, recognizing those biases, and figuring out how to overcome the things that might be holding you back.
Exactly. It's about realizing that success in any part of life often comes down to consistent effort, patience, and being willing to learn and grow.
This deep dive is seriously changing how I think about money. And honestly, about life in general. It's not just about the numbers. It's about understanding ourselves, our motivations, and the choices that shape our future.
And that's what makes Housel's book so impactful. It's not just a finance guide, it's a guide to living a more intentional and fulfilling life.
Man, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on money now and like how it fits into my life.
It really is more than just like dollars and cents. It's about understanding what shapes our money decisions. You know, both the things we're aware of and the things we're not.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the biggest things I'm taking away from this is that being good with money isn't just about knowing the formulas or picking the right stocks. It's about understanding your own mind and having a healthy relationship with money.
Housel really emphasizes that throughout the book. He says that how we act and what we believe about money often have a way bigger impact on our finances than like actual knowledge or skills.
So even with a good financial plan, If we're always sabotaging ourselves with impulsive spending or like emotional investing, we're probably not going to reach our goals.
Exactly. That's why this book is so helpful. It's not just about giving you some rules to follow. It's about helping you understand yourself better, recognizing your biases and those things that trigger you, so you can make smarter choices with your money.
It's like he's giving us the tools to be our own financial therapists.
I like that, and it's not just about personal finances either. Housel also talks about the bigger societal impact of our collective psychology of money.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
Well, he argues that our cultural attitudes about money, the messages we get from the media, how we were raised, all these things contribute to this shared financial psychology. That can influence everything from how much people spend to like actual economic policy.
So it's not just about our own wallets. It's about understanding how our beliefs and behaviors around money shape the world we live in.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important thing to think about, especially now when we're constantly bombarded with messages about wealth and status. It's easy to get caught up in all that and lose sight of what really matters.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one big message you hope our listeners take away from the psychology of money?
If I had to sum it up in one sentence, I'd say financial success is less about what you know and more about how you act.
That's powerful. It's not just about having the right information. It's about having the right mindset and habits.
Absolutely. And on that note, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Now that you've learned about the psychology of money, what's one small change you can make in your own financial behavior today?
That's a great challenge. It could be something simple like setting up automatic savings, making a budget, or even just taking a few minutes to think about your financial goals and values.
Remember, even small changes made consistently can make a huge difference in your financial well-being.
This deep dive has been eye-opening for me. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of myself and my relationship with money. If you enjoyed this, I highly recommend checking out Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money yourself. It's a book that will stick with you long after you finish reading it. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.